Craziest bike it is the summer of 2020. With the perspective of a United States citizen, we are facing some of the biggest challenges ever. Just to name a few: climate destruction, mass extinction of species, ecological destruction, overpopulation, economic meltdown, racism, corrupt government, and of course coronavirus. COVID-19 assumptions have always existed in society and probably always will to some extent. However, the coronavirus has revealed how one bad behavior can lead to a whole host of problems, and that one behavior can be linked to all the challenges listed above. Rewind to January and February 2020, or perhaps even March. The government takes advice of health experts to shut down the country to only essential services to reduce the spread of the coronavirus. On the other hand, the media, politicians and leaders of corporations in this country have made assumptions about the coronavirus, namely, that it is just like the flu and it is nothing to be concerned about, and besides, only a few cases have been detected in the United States. The whole thing has been overblown by the health experts, or so they claim, and some go so far as to say that it is a conspiracy and it's not even real. Now it is April and May 2020 and the news media starts to change its tone as the coronavirus starts to rapidly spread across the United States. However, it is too late. People have already heard the new media's presumptive story, which it is still being perpetuated by the politicians and corporate leaders due to the economic meltdown. June 2020 arrives and the government has dismantled its health expert panel, and a great majority of people still believe the presumptive story of the coronavirus not being a big deal when they take to the streets in mass to protest the death of a black man in police custody. By July 2020, the United States has over 100,000 deaths from the coronavirus, and it shows signs of spreading even more rapidly than before. What is actually causing all this chaos? We tend to pay more attention to those we like, and not those we dislike. Certain news media outlets, a select few politicians, and a select few corporate leaders may be liked by a particular individual, who will then use their opinions and assumptions to form a point of view, a belief. This happens on a large scale, as such opinions and assumptions are broadcasted to a wide audience. This ability to influence such masses of people gives these people their power. It can be used in such a way as to have a positive effect, or negative effect, when it comes to the outcomes of events, such as the coronavirus. Humans are quick to take up information others have told them. They make the assumption that the other person is smart and has taken the steps to research something, and we are relying on them to help form our opinions. It is difficult for one person to research everything for themselves, so inevitably, we end up using the words of others to form our point of view. Typically, these things are good enough to make general decisions, for example, general gardening advice, even given a complex ecosystem. We tend to research things we are unsure about, and we want to gain knowledge to help us make better decisions on that topic. When we think we have gained the majority of the information, we move on to the next thing, otherwise we waste time rereading the same thing over and over. Our ego then comes in, and we believe we know everything there is to know on that topic. We stop absorbing, we stop observing, close off our senses, become less receptive to new information and reject any contrary information on that topic. Let's say that there is a topic you never were unsure about, and had no curiosity about it, then you are likely to solidify the first thing you heard about it. Also, the more people will believe it around you, the more likely you will feel everyone else has already researched it and knows what they are talking about, and you just accept it as truth without questioning it. If you believe it without question, you will not use any pure observation, and will not research it, even though it could actually inform you better than you already are if your assumptions were right. Why do some people keep an open mind and others do not? The more uncertain, unsure and doubtful you are, the more likely you are to research it and observe it more. However, the more uncertain, unsure and doubtful you are, the more you will stall in making a decision. An example is trying to figure out where to plant a tree in the yard. Where does the yard drain? Where is there more sun or shade? Is there an invasive species nearby that will kill it? I have stalled many times before planting, putting it off for days, but in reality you can research it and place it where you think best. But pure observation of this plant over months or even years will enrich your information about it for future decisions. Keep in mind that how certain or sure you feel does not mean you have good evidence, because you may only feel certain or sure because of the people around you reaffirming your belief. This feedback helps to create beliefs that are blind. If the new media is constantly borrowing content from each other, then this is also playing its role as feedback and reinforcing the belief. This is what is happening in the population with coronavirus. They were first told it wasn't a big deal, and then that it was a hoax and conspiracy, and it has been propagated by all those people around them, who were all influenced by the media, politicians and corporate leaders. Science and the reverse messages coming out of at least some news media outlets are being ignored by all the egos and blind beliefs of the masses. Is it possible to fix the problems listed at the top of this article via intellectual modesty and thinking through the law of cause and effect, that is to say logic? Can we admit that our certainty is only relative, since new information can always be discovered through pure observation, and our belief of what we think we know can be decoupled from the feedback we constantly get from others as well as the news media, politicians, and corporate leaders? Can we consider the effects on our neighbors and take into consideration the types of effects our actions will cause on them, especially when we are not certain, or think we are certain but know we are only basing it off of the opinions and assumptions of others? First think about who is influencing you or trying to influence you, and let's all consider our words. Because you never know, they might just become the foundation of someone else's belief.